back on Adapt and Respond. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Which head coach do you think is going to be the first one to get fired in 2025, and who and what should they do? Who do they have to beat, I should say, and what do they have to do to avoid that fate? These are also odds you can find at Bet Online, where you can, I think, wager on almost anything that's related to college football and the specials, right? Specials there, I thought it was really fun. Will Bill Belichick be an NFL head coach before the NFL draft? I feel like the answer to that is no, and it might be an easy $600 for you. But I also think it's really fun that they got this feature here. Now, normally, we don't really like to talk about coaches getting fired because nobody likes to talk about anybody else getting fired because you don't want to talk about yourself getting fired. But the fact of the matter is that is what happens in college football. Head coaches get fired. They change jobs often enough. And when the results aren't the results, they might pay you to go away. And we saw that with Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. Doesn't matter that you were able to beat Alabama as an unranked team. All we saw there is you weren't doing enough with the potential that we gave you. You got this outstanding recruiting class that turned out to be absolutely nothing and nada, that it felt like you overpaid for before name, image, and likeness and revenue sharing became a really, really, really big deal. And now we're talking about Jimbo Fisher commentating on the ACC network, right, which could be a fate shared by many. Like Mark Richt was out there doing that. So as I looked at these first Power 4 conference coaches that could be fired on Bet Online, look, Brennan at Arizona getting plus 400, I can kind of see that because you had Teterow and McMillan and Noah Fafita last year, and you weren't able to do much. This year, you're talking about, okay, we had a bunch of guys that didn't understand what it was to be Wildcats. We coddled a bunch of dudes. We're not doing that this year. It's a job he really wanted. It's why he left San Jose State to take it. But he's got to make it happen with Fafita and those guys this year. And he thinks he's got enough in the wide receiver group to overcome the loss of McMillan. And then you got to keep the lid on the defense, right? I think you got to be near the top of the Big 12 to ward off any firing, especially knowing that Arizona State, your in-state rival and your hated nemesis, won the conference championship in a year where they were picked dead last. Got to make it happen. But even more dire for me is seeing that Brent Venables at plus 600 has better odds to be fired than Sam Pittman at plus 700, than Brent Pryde, Virginia Tech, at plus 700, and Hugh Freeze at Auburn at plus 800. That is how hot the seat is for many Sooner fans as it relates to Brent Venables. I'm not one of them, right? I'm not one of them with Sam Pittman either, for that matter. I genuinely believe both of those guys are the best men for the job right now, but the results have to add up. And I think Sam Pittman has shown over and over again, give him a team that he thinks he can go win with, and he will. He won 9 games a couple of years ago. Last year, they beat Tennessee, who had beaten Oklahoma, who made the college football playoff. Then they got absolutely stomped out by an Ole Miss team that ends up getting a win against Georgia. Arkansas, for me, is one of the toughest jobs in college football because they play in the SEC and because they haven't allowed themselves to spend on par with teams like LSU, Alabama, Tennessee, other programs, even though they are the team in the state. And there are lots of Razorback fans that believe that because they're the team in the state, they don't have another rival that they really got to argue with, say like Oklahoma State and Oklahoma or Texas and 5 other Power 4 programs. They feel like they should be better. But I would submit to you that Bobby Petrino era is not indicative of what it's like to coach at Arkansas, right? There's a reason why we still raise Frank Broyles up. When you're able to win a national championship at Arkansas, I think that, yeah, you can do whatever you want and your family can do whatever they want for the time being because that's just not supposed to happen. It doesn't happen. Arkansas playing the SEC championship game doesn't even happen. Them making the college football playoff would be such a cool deal. But I think Arkansas fans, like Oklahoma fans, are getting kind of fed up with the results and they would like to see somebody else in charge. And on the one hand, I get it, right? Not being great is not being great. Arkansas has not been great. But Oklahoma has been bad 2 of the last 3 years. 6-7, 10-3, 6-7. Going bowling ain't good enough at Oklahoma. Winning 7 games ain't good enough at Oklahoma. You managed to not even do that. And now entering a year where Oklahoma is not ranked inside the preseason top 25 of the softest top 25 ranking that we have, coaches poll. Everybody wants to tell everybody good things in the coaches poll. That's bad news. That's bad news, especially when your general manager, the guy you hired to be the general manager, has a higher Q rating than you do in Jim Nagy. Now, Jim Nagy's not actually been a part of a team that's winning or not winning, and we don't know what the players that he has brought in are capable of yet. I think this is how Brent Venables was lauded too, because when Brent got the job, took the job, it was a monumental moment for Oklahoma fans. Finally, we got a guy back who understands us, who thought that this is the last and only place he ever wanted to be a head coach. Unlike Lincoln Riley, who loses to Oklahoma State and the next day he's on a plane to Los Angeles. Okies took that hard. Okies still take that hard, right? I have let it go. I go and be happy over there, dog. We like to rub our knuckles in the dirt over here and make people earn it. When you're not able to give us those wins, then we get antsy, because that is what Oklahoma is built on. Not unlike Arkansas. You got to go out and take your respect by beating people up, because people will tell you all sorts of nasty things. Do y'all have wagons over there, covered wagons? Do y'all still live in teepees? All kinds of crappy stuff. The only thing that you get to say is that the NBA champs are in Oklahoma City, baby. And that there's 7 national championships, 7 Heisman Trophy winners that come through Oklahoma. You come to Oklahoma to win football games at the highest level. When you're not able to do that, people can tend to take it really hard. Other guys that make this list that I think are worth pointing out, I thought Scott Satterfield would be here at plus 1,000. Doesn't shock me. The dudes that I think are more interesting to point out that I don't think should be here, Sonny Dykes at Texas Christian, he's getting plus 3,300. Mario Cristobal at Miami, he's getting plus 3,300. Scott Frost just got the damn job in Central Florida. He's getting plus 3,300. Joey Maguire at Texas Tech, whose program just spent about $25 million, according to Sam Kahn at The Athletic, on the football roster. Yeah, he might be in there. Now, he's also said, this is the last place I want to be, and they're giving him everything he needs. But I think he's going to feel the pressure of needing to win, because the numbers are the talking point. Okay? You saw what Ohio State was able to do with $20 million. What should you do with 25 at Texas Tech? Now, grant you, Texas Tech has not won 9 games in a single season since 2009. They have not won a share of a conference championship since they were in the Southwest Conference in 1994, and they have not won an outright conference championship since 1955 when they were part of the Border Conference. There's a lot of pressure on one of the best high school football coaches of the last quarter century in Joey Maguire, because they gave him the money to go get the offensive line he wanted. He was able to go get dudes out of the portal like David Bailey, brought Micah Hudson back out of the portal to play wide receivers, got Baron Morton back there. They got Quentin Joyner back there playing tailback after losing Taj Brooks. They ought to be really good. And as Cody Campbell, their billionaire booster, who is something like, their general manager to their general manager, has said, nobody in our conference is more talented than we are on the football field. And you know what? I think there's a lot to that. I think there's something to be said. I think you need to point that out and make that stick. Otherwise, it might be tough to move around in Lubbock, Texas. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Adapt and Respond. If you like the show and you're happy that we got ourselves a sponsor here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and tell me about it. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks so much. I'm still giving out those stickers. If you fill out the form in the description below on the YouTube video, I'll put it in the mail to you. Very excited. This is a really cool day for us. Look for more like it.